Ladies, I just want to thank you for joining us. And before we start, I think we just need to start at the very beginning, which is a little bit about who each of you are and what your shared experience is. 3 women with a very similar experience, yet different parts of that experience.
You mean that I was the surrogate mom and grandmama when I was 31?
That's right. I mean, there you
That's
go.
what I was. Yes.
So you were a surrogate mom and grandma at the age of 31.
I was her mom and her grandmother. Yes.
Lots of people would probably say they can relate to being a mom and a grandma figure to someone. Is there anything that makes your experience unique? How did you get to know Karen, and how did you get to know Lauren?
I was 31 and Karen was 18. She was not born yet. The Lord put us together. I had nothing to do with it except for that I said yes to the Lord. And then he brought Karen, who I didn't know, into my life. And Lauren. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for God. And what a good God he is.
Karen, if you had to tell somebody in like a short 1 minute of how you got to know Janna.
I was an 18-year-old pregnant woman, freshman in college, and wanted to have an abortion and failed in several attempts, and then finally started an abortion and got scared in the middle and changed my mind. And Janna and her husband Bill allowed me to come and live in their home. They were a young married couple with 2 small children, and I moved in with them and became the older sister.
And you felt loved and supported in your circumstances there.
Totally.
Needed a place to live.
Needed a place to live and needed emotional support and just a place where I felt accepted and not judged.
After being there for a little over a month, you had a scary night where Janna had to help get you to the hospital, and you were about how far along?
26 weeks. Went into labor unexpectedly in the middle of the night and went to the hospital and delivered Lauren.
But delivering Lauren and parenting her was not the original plan.
It was not at all the plan. It just happened.
And when you first laid eyes on Lauren that day, a little tiny, vulnerable, premature baby.
2 pounds, 6 ounces, and couldn't give her up.
Lauren, what is this like for you? I mean, the brief version of how old were you when you found out your story?
So when I was 21 years old, I found out that I was an abortion survivor and that I survived my mom's 2nd trimester abortion attempt. And it was shocking. I knew that I was a preemie, but that was all that I knew. And so the circumstances and how everything came about and why Bill and Janna were in my life in the first place, I had no idea until my mom explained it all.
For people who are seeing this for the first time, this has not been an easy journey to sharing your story and your mom sharing her story. It's been one that has been balanced with worry for mom, worry for your family, wanting to be supportive of mom. And I think as survivors, we see this a lot in our population of survivors and really families in this place of struggle of how and when and why do you share a story like this, and where is it safe, and when is it a good time, and how you handle the circumstances when one person is ready before another person is ready. And you've patiently waited for this day.
It's been a really delicate balance, but now is the time, and I'm excited about that, and I'm humbled by that I have the opportunity to sit with them and to share this. I honestly never thought it would actually happen. So it's very humbling, and it has been, almost 20 years in the making. So it's not been a short road, but it's been worth it.
When is the last time the two of you were together, Karen and Janna?
Well, we moved to Atlanta 26 years ago. So our only opportunities to see Bill and Janna came when we would go to Arkansas to visit our family and call and see if they were available. And I honestly don't even know how long it's been.
4 years ago.
Okay.
So
we've had periods of longer than 4 years.
Yeah.
And when is the last time you saw Laura and Janna?
when she was a little girl, William and Karen used to bring the kids to Arkansas when they go see their family. They always came to see us. And the girls never understood where we fit. Neither did my children. Nobody ever understood why we were part of their life, that they had to come see us. Mm-hmm. The kids did not understand why we were part of the routine of going to see Grandma and Granddaddy.
Lauren, you shared, this is about 20 years in the making in terms of you sharing your story and your mom sharing her story. But through that process, it's also been the layers of getting to know the role that people played in your life and your story. And Janna is one of them. So you had some relationship and you would see Janna some when you were a small child, but then that obviously had another layer added to it when you found out your story 20 some years ago. What is that process like now?
Through this process of, trying to get the details about my story from my parents, I obviously learned a lot more about the really special role that Janna and Bill played in my life. And when I connected with ASN, I felt called to share my story. And I knew that I needed to wait for my mom to be ready for that. And so through that process, I asked her about it. I asked her about going public with it and about allowing me to share it. And I knew she wasn't ready yet. But a couple months later, Janna actually reached out to my mom and told her that God had put it on her heart to write their story and that she needed my mom's version of the story in order to do that. And so that kind of started a chain of events. Janna reached out to me and we reconnected.
God put it on my heart to write a book because he'd done so many miracles. I just wanted everybody to know. But I knew that Karen needed to be in a place before we could write a book. I got a hold of Lauren and Karen. Well, I talked to you first. And then I talked to Karen and said, if we do this, we need your part of the story. And that kind of started the whole ball rolling. So I give that credit to God, too. God put it on my heart, and it started everything. Mm-hmm. And that book is still not written.
But the neat thing about the timing of all of that was I had gone to my mom and asked her if I could share, and I could tell she was really uncomfortable. And then in a separate conversation, Janna started reaching out, and I hadn't spoken to Janna
in a long time
since I was a child. So, that was all amazing, just the timing of it all. And we've been able now to have a closer relationship and reconnect, and she's shared her, side of the story with me and the things that God did, and that's been really neat to have her back in my life and to realize, like she said, when we were children, I didn't realize the role she had played in my life and in my family, and now I do, and I'm so grateful.
And I'm sure, Karen, just based on what you've shared with us about your personality, which is a good personality, it's my personality, I'm guessing that when you were on parts of this journey and maybe Lauren was saying, hey, Melissa's writing a book and she wants me to share my story, or Janna saying, hey, I want to write a book, that was probably not always the most comfortable situation for you.
Not at all. I I really didn't realize the guilt and the shame and the baggage that I carried for 40 years until Lauren started sharing her story, and then it all came gushing out. Janna had asked me to write my version of the story, and I just realized, like, I couldn't. I would sit down in front of the computer and, like, nothing. I couldn't do it. And I finally had to text her and say, I just can't do this. So you can add today to the list of miracles.
That's right.
Because I never thought I would be here talking about this. I never thought I could.
And for me, I have to look at this and think there's something really special about being with the people who are a part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of how we do this well and with love, is connecting with one another,
Mm-hmm.
sharing it together, being a part of it together. And that's what it takes before we put it out in other ways. That there's just really something special about doing this together.
It always helps to have a support system. So
That's exactly what I was thinking.
yeah, we're supporting one another.
That's right.
It's been really special to have her back in my life and to be on this journey together.